All right. So, just to give people a little bit of idea what was going on. So, when you first came in, what were all the symptoms that you had?
I had ringing in both ears and horrible migraines that were debilitating. I'd actually feel numbness sometimes from here all the way back. Like part of the top of my cranium was completely gone. Wound up in Kootenai in April because they thought I had a mini stroke. Thought I had MS, wasn't MS, so here we are. And yeah.
So, you had the headache, you had.
I also had numbness in my feet and in my legs, and along with all of that.
So, it was down both the front and the
And
back. Yeah.
Right.
And then you also had numbness and tingling down your arms, both
and
arms.
And hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
And let's see, ringing in the ear, dizziness.
Dizziness. There were days where, I was waking up every day not knowing if it were a cane day or if it were a walker day. And then there'd be times when I'd be in the store and I would just start falling over because I'd get dizzy and I just didn't have very good balance even.
Yeah. And then your thinking.
Yes, my cognitive. I was having problems with working my stove, remembering how to turn it on or off. Couldn't remember how to open the window or close the window on the back of our Jeep. Certain animals, I wouldn't know what they were, like a seagull. I asked my husband, I go, what's that spotted bird? And it was a seagull.
Oh, okay.
And so things like that. Not after typing for many years, I would, of course, I know the keyboard, and I couldn't remember that you had to hit the shift key to get a number or a symbol, and so that was really hard for me. Not remembering how to use a calculator and having an accounting background. That was simple math. I couldn't do simple math. It affected a lot. Even having a conversation with you right now, I wouldn't be able to have a fluid conversation with anybody. Some days it just depends on the headache, which messed with my eyes. I mean, it everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
So you came in last month, which was actually the anniversary of my practice. And it was kind of interesting because you were really the conglomeration of a lot of symptoms people have been coming in with. And so I was really excited because I was able to get pretty good results with you. After you left on your first visit, how were the symptoms at that point?
They were a lot better. Actually, the first time you working on my neck after finding the skull rotation, you got it to where I had no ringing in my ears at all, and my cognitive is back, and I can feel my hands, and I'm not having the dizzy spells. I don't have cane and walker days anymore. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was actually.
I feel normal.
it was actually really cool because you know that you've changed somebody's life. You just totally flipped the table on everything that's going bad. When you just had that look, I was just like, wow, the ringing in the ears is gone.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, just having my life back is it's great. It's great. I didn't think I'd have it back.
You're starting to make me tear up.
Thank you.
Oh, we got tissue here. There you go.
Thanks.
Uh,
Your other concern?
So yeah, that was crazy because up until this point, you've been so debilitated. You haven't been able to work around the house, do anything.
Right.
And what has that caused for you?
Just having that disability.
And how long was that?
A year, 14 months, 12 months to 14 months before seeing you, and I mean, this whole thing has created so much havoc in my life. I had to quit my job after 12 years, which I loved my job, and it got so bad to where I'd have to call dental offices. I'd have to call and speak to the doctor about a claim, and I couldn't remember. I had to write everything down because I wouldn't remember. I couldn't even recite codes to them or know the definition of the code. It was really messing with my job. And so after 12 months of short-term disability, it was just getting worse. I'd gotten the numbness in my feet, the numbness in my hands. The cognitive was so much worse. It just kept getting worse. And so I thought that I was going to have to live my life like that, forever. And the ringing was so bad that I actually considered ending my life at one point because I couldn't deal with that. And just the whole thing.
Tear out there.
The whole thing, and I'm not, being a believer, God, just been praying for healing. And you're an answer to prayer. Big answer to prayer. It's through God that has given you this capability to help people and to give their life back. And to give their life back. And that's, thank you. Thank you.
There was another thing that I just forgot until you mentioned the dentist. After I worked on you, what did you say to me?
I didn't have to have braces, and I didn't have to have a night guard for my TMJ because even with the skull rotation, I was noticing. I always had told my mom, my smile is crooked. My tongue, you could see my tongue, and my right eye was actually drooping. And since you've been working on this, I actually have my lips, they're straight now. My eyes no longer drooping. My face is actually, we're all connected. And my hygienist is actually my friend. And she said, well, we're all connected. You're all connected. And your skeleton is, this is what shows of it are your teeth. And so when I found out that I didn't have to go through braces, 26 months of agony, it's like, wow, something that's so simple is a chiropractor. And that was one of the first things that my doctor said, don't see a chiropractor when I got sick. And if I would have done that, I keep thinking, okay, well, I'd probably still have my job. And because I wouldn't have gone through, I would have found you. So, but then again, too, I think, you know what, this is God's plan. I found you later on, and I had to go through all of this growth and to go through all of this. Because when He puts us through hardship, that's when you grow. And I've grown so much, just in all aspects of my life. I'm leaning more on God. And when I first got sick, it's like, okay, you have my attention, God. I'm now listening to you because I was more into just work. That's all I did. And I was just so stressed out all the time. And now it's like, I can actually take a deep breath and I actually feel alive I feel so much more alive since you've been working on me, and it just, yeah, I feel good. I feel good.
Except for one thing that,
Cool.
so in her history, she told me that back at some point she was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis, but it went away. And so,
Yeah.
so what happened when you finally got feeling back into your feet?
Actually, I'm actually able, I've never been able to sit on my knees, get down on my knees and sit
Mhm.
back on my feet. And I actually can now because I don't have that pain it's always been in my right foot and my right leg. And I don't have that anymore. I actually have more mobility. I'm able to move better. Walking doesn't hurt anymore. Yeah, just it's made a big difference. Yeah, it's painful, but to me, it's worth it. And I've actually been sharing with other people because plantar fasciitis, there's a lot of people who have it, and I
Yeah.
keep telling them.
I have it.
There's a lady that I met at a women's class that I'm taking through our church, and I met her last Monday, and she's been wearing a boot for her plantar fasciitis, and I'm like, I have somebody that can fix that for you. But she's not ready to hear that. She's like, well, my foot's messed up because of the boot now. Okay, but I'll keep dropping your name.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes it takes a few stories out there and finally clicks with somebody. Okay, maybe I'll try this.
Well, and too, my new saying is, and this is what my saying's been the whole time, and people say, well, I don't see how you can be so strong through all of this. Well, for one, we're relying on God because we lost my income. And two, I tell people this mess is going to turn into a message, and this test will turn into a testimony, and it already is. It's just people who've been watching what I'm going through, and they go, how can you be so strong? Well, it's when you go through these hardships that makes you strong, and it makes you thankful for a lot of things, and you rely more on God, which, I mean, that's important, very important.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, I actually got into this work because my dad suffered from chronic migraines.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to a chiropractor at one point and didn't feel like he got any results. And so eventually, kind of life found that path towards becoming a chiropractor. I really had no idea what I was getting into, but somewhere around here, I'm not the best at managing this thing. But oh yeah, so he passed away in his sleep. A couple months later, we're going through the medicine cabinet, and we found some medications that he obtained from Mexico. One of the side effects was capillary constriction, and because he fell asleep and didn't wake up, we think that pretty much that's what happened. It constricted the capillaries in his brain, and it pretty much starved his brain of the oxygen it needed. So first term I get into chiropractic school, I find out that there's like 200 something techniques, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. What's going on? What am I getting myself into?
Right.
So I jumped into all the clubs and went to the NUCA Club, or National Upper Cervical Chiropractic Association, and first day they started slapping up films and measuring everything out as far as like the head tilt, the rotation, all that good stuff. And I was like, I gotta know how to do this. I gotta know how to do this. I want to be the best at this and knock this out of the water. And so I really got into it. And there's a little bit of stigma against some upper cervical chiropractors. Some just want to do that, and that's great. I guess a little bit of political stuff with that, but for the most part, I was kind of like, okay, I'm just going to shut my mouth during school, not tell anyone about it, and then get out and do awesome work. But yeah, one of my first patients was, we had an open adjusting lab, and so I kind of took some of my knowledge, and this one girl had a headache for 3 days straight, and so I was like, hey, I want to try out some stuff. And I tried it out. And it was just doing what I could without films. And right there on the table, her headache went away. And I was like, yep, this is exactly what I need to keep on doing. So,
well, and even the techniques that you've shown me, the exercises and everything, the rolled up towel, you know, I actually fall asleep with that towel behind because it feels so good just from the pressure being, you know, putting the pressure on the back of my head and down my neck. And it actually helps with headaches. If I'm not home, I got a headache the other day when we weren't home. So I got a headache, and so first, you know, get the towel, and I've actually got it taped so it doesn't come undone. So
okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And so I just set it right beside my bed and then after I'm done with that, if I don't fall asleep and wake up later with the towel rolled up behind my neck, then I just go to that Whoopee pillow, that awesome pillow that supports my neck and my head, and it's amazing. And I've been sharing about that amazing pillow too with everybody. So, I mean, this whole thing has been, I mean, people are watching.
It's a journey.
It definitely a journey. Definitely a journey. I thought I was going to be disabled the rest of my life.
And I forgot to mention the same doctor who said that you shouldn't go to see a chiropractor. She wanted me to reach out to them and tell them basically what happened, and I went through all of my findings, and I knocked their socks off, really, I think, because they're like, wow, yeah, that matches up with our records. Hey, I think I know somebody that needs your care.
That's great.
So it was actually really cool because it just completely flipped somebody's perspective of chiropractic. There's just so much that you can do, and especially with the education nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, because they couldn't figure it out. I mean, they sent me to an MS doctor, and it's like, no, you don't have MS, so we don't know why we're seeing you. So, and she couldn't figure it out, and so I saw my mom told me about a gal who actually had skull rotation that had the same symptoms as I don't know if she read it about her or if she saw a documentary film on her. And so she mentioned it to me. And then I started seeing your feed come on to my Facebook. And I'm like, $21 for a consult and x-rays? This has got to be spam. So I prayed about it. And I kept praying about it because I kept seeing it. And I'm like, okay, God, if I see it one more time, I'm going to go ahead and call. And so I did, and I talked to you, which I was really surprised to be talking to the doctor. I thought, receptionist, this guy's probably, a big, chiropractor who's, got staff, and you just, runs them in, runs them out. Not with you. You're very personable and very professional. And I actually look forward to my torture when I, actually seeing.
I don't always have to torture everyone. I don't.
No,
it's only in certain cases, and hopefully once it's done, it's done.
If you have plantar fasciitis,
it
worth it.
Sucks. It sucks, but it's worth it.
It is worth it.
I have it. So yeah, I one of my mentors, John D'Onofrio, he actually taught my X-ray boards, and he had a little seminar on the side, and he kind of warned everyone that if you go to this, I'll probably torture somebody. Just let you know that it's going to be like really painful. Yeah. Don't hit me
right.
from doing this. And I prepped, and like 3 months later, I'm like, okay, I'm mentally ready. And he's like, are you sure you're ready? I'm like, yes, I've been mentally prepping myself for 3 months. Let's do this. And one of my classmates actually said that I wasn't screaming, but they said my body looked like something out of The Exorcism, like The Exorcist, because I was just like, this hurts so much.
Yeah.
So,
But the thing is what I've noticed is every time you've worked on my feet, I'm walking out of here just fine. So it's only the initial of breaking up all of those adhesions, and
Yeah.
I can actually feel them breaking.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like giving childbirth
Yeah, it's
without any pain medicine.
Yeah.
And so the only difference is you don't get a baby. You get better feet though.
yeah,
You get better feet and you get better mobility. And with me, I'm getting, circulation back in my feet.
yeah,
I mean, there's so many positive things, even though you have to go through that little bit of pain. Just make sure you do it after hours. Because if you
Yeah.
scream or whatever, then nobody hears.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's worth it. And I've been passing it on. I know somebody that can fix that. Dr. David. Here's his number.
So for all the nerds that are watching this, take a look at if you can find like an atlas of the human body, or like a picture kind of book of the anatomy. Look at the intertarsal muscles, and there's a nice little artery that runs right between the big toe and the toe right next to it. And so those muscles are really tight. It can actually compress that artery. And I think that's been the big contributor to why you've actually lost a lot of sensation in your toe.
Mm-hmm.
And after I work on it, it kind of opens that up and you feel that blood flow again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels good. That's a welcome. It's like, thank you. So just make sure I hit that ball. Roll that ball. Keep these things broke up and keep the blood flowing. So,
anything else you wanted to say?
not that I can think of. Except I'm just going to continue to refer people to you
Thank
and
you.
use you as my chiropractor. It's like now I'm believing chiropractors. Before it's like, no, I've only been to one other chiropractor, and that was two, excuse me. I've been to two. And the first one I went to, it was just, pretty much adjust you and you're out. Second one didn't even touch me. They had me on some kind of inversion table or something, and it worked. It put my back in, but yeah, it was just a kind of weird, and the way that you do things is different too, which I'd rather prefer than having to experience the other two. So when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, definitely want to go to him. He's not a bone cracker, that's for sure. But he helps. He helps. He has a special, I don't know how he does it, but you have a special way of doing things that's different, and it's more like massage. I've noticed that you use a lot of pressure points, a lot of massage, and
Well, some of it is
Yeah.
just the muscles can throw out the bony structures. So sometimes that's kind of a necessity of.
well, and two, another thing that I really like about you is that comparing to the other two, is that they didn't give me exercises to do to strengthen those muscles so that you actually stay, you start working on those muscles so that your bones do stay and your ligaments do stay.
Yeah.
To keep everything in place, because we're all connected, your whole everything in your body. So if you're not doing the heat therapy and you're not doing the exercises and everything, this is the first time a chiropractor said, okay, exercises and heat therapy, it all makes sense. Now I understand, and now I know that, yeah, you've got me as a patient. I'm just, yeah, I'm not gonna go anywhere, because what you do. And I have no problem telling my friends all about you. And people that I just meet that say, oh, when I'm doing telling them my story, my testimony, and then I tell them about you, and they're like, well, I have problems with headaches, and my doctor can't seem to figure them out, or I have plantar fasciitis, and okay, I know somebody that can help you with that. So, when you help people out, word of mouth is really a good thing.
It gets out.
It gets out.
Maybe 1 in every 20 actually come in, but eventually people hear enough things. And I was treating a lady today who's over in Spokane, and I guess she's heard from a few people about some of the stuff that I've done. So I don't know where, but enough times they're like, okay, what's going on with this?
Right. Well, even people up by the Canadian border where my parents live have heard about you, because I've shared.
Oh, okay.
Believe me, I've shared even in Priest River and stuff. There's people that know about you. I mean, social media is amazing, and it's all in who you know. So if somebody they do a bad job, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
But if you do a good job, you hear about it. And so, I'd rather have the good than the bad. It helps you. It helps keep you going. And, it's like I was telling my son this week. He's raising his prices he's a diesel mechanic and has his own business in North Dakota. And he's having to raise rates. And somebody was complaining about that. And I said, if you give good customer service and you work hard and you treat your customers right, it's quality that they look for. And it keeps them coming back. And you have quality.
Thank you. I mean, there's definitely some people who are going for like the cheapest price, but it's like, well, is that always the best?
Right.
Maybe not.
Right.
And I've been running ads on Facebook for $21 for this past couple months, mostly just to stir up people, get them to take action, come in, and actually see, hey, there's something different that happens here.
Yes. And to social media, that's how I found you.
Yeah.
And I've actually shared your ads to my page several times.
Oh, thank you.
And your information saying, hey, this is, because you have your biography and stuff on there and what you do. And so I've actually taken some of the plantar fasciitis and put it on my page and with your information. So people, it's like, okay, and just different pieces of what you do and what you've helped me with, it's been out there because I've shared it on my page for my friends to see, which are all over the United States. And so you're getting out there. Whether you like it or not.
I'm hoping that at some point in the future I'll be able to bring the other like-minded doctors in and basically have this mindset of, okay, people are coming in, we're not here to play games with insurance companies or anything. Your goal is to get people better.
Right.
And so...
Well, and two, referring my sister to you, who's a practitioner who does alternative medicine. And so there's, that partnership too. Again, it's all in who you know. And you don't know who somebody knows or what they do or until, when they walk into your office. You just don't know. So it's always good to, and the thing is too, is, I can't remember. This is my 4th visit with you, 5th visit?
4th.
4th. Every time that I've come in, you've been, you're real. You're real. You're personable and you're real. And that's what I like about you. You're really easy to talk to and, and to have conversation with, and to say, hey, you know, I've got this going on, and you know, this changed, and you
Yeah.
look at it, and you know, you take films if you need to, and you know, just to see, you know, if there's improvement, and if, you know, we work together as a team. It's not just
Yeah.
you. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be, because you know, a lot of the times when it comes to rehab, it's like climbing up a ladder. You know, I can do so much, and then the rehab brings them up. You know, and it's just keep on climbing. And you know, it's that partnership of working. You know, I do what I do in the office, and then there's rehab outside, and it's just, you know, you climb that stair.
Well, and too, if you think about it, you're actually, when I first started coming to him, I'm like, wow, there's some physical therapy involved in this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, wow, what chiropractor does this?
Yeah, actually, PT is actually part of our education. There's actually a whole PT set of boards that we have to go through. You know, we get taught, you know, some soft tissue stuff. I was actually really lucky. Some of my friends were actually massage therapists, so I learned a few tricks and tips and all that fun stuff that I use. And you know, there's just a lot to learn, and I honestly feel like I just know just a little bit.
Well,
but you know, sometimes just that little bit is enough to make a big impact on people's lives.
oh yeah, definitely has mine.
Yeah.
I mean, and my husband's. I'm not as crabby. Hey, no comments from the peanut factory. Just joking. But yeah, I mean, even I sleep better even. Have problems waking up, not going back to sleep, but I sleep better. I mean, I feel more rested, too, since I've been coming here. So that's helping too. So, but yeah.
Well, we're gonna get going. I will catch you guys later.